Welcome to Dr. J's Path to Success podcast. Dr. James Fetish is a successful practice owner, best-selling author, and speaker. Listen in as he shares his secrets to a successful business and a successful life. So now, here's Dr. J.
Okay, everybody, welcome to this episode of the podcast. We have another special interview for you guys. So as we said, we only interview people that I really think are going to help out the podcast. They're going to help out you guys, give you some valuable information, have a really good story for you to share. Most of the episodes are about me kind of talking about different business and life things, and only bringing some really special guests that can really be benefit to you guys. So this episode, we have Johnny Beltran, and Johnny Beltran is a really interesting story. He's gone from a Navy SEAL to now a business owner, which is always an amazing transition. And, I have a personal, real affection and try to help out any kind of vets. One of the chiropractors that works for me is a vet. My father was in the Naval Academy. And I think that what they do to service this country is unbelievable and a lot of times underappreciated. We were actually meeting with the VA yesterday trying to get more care for the vets in our area out here. So it's a real cause dear to my heart. So when Johnny reached out to me, I really want to do something to help the vets and talk about veterans is real important to us. So, Johnny, why don't you tell the story? I mean, anybody that can be a Navy SEAL is a lot bigger man than I am. So why don't you tell us the story how you became a Navy SEAL first, Johnny?
All right. Hey, first off, thank you very much for having me, Doctor. I appreciate it. And the story, it's interesting and it isn't at the same time, right? It's something that I wanted to do since I think I was in eighth, ninth grade, and it was just something that I had in me that my younger brother had in him to go and try. And I think that's the way my parents they raised us to go out and try what we thought was in it for us, no matter what the consequences, no matter the risks, no matter what society was telling us not to do or to do. So that said, I went in about 1999. I think I was going to go in 98. I got hurt for a minor period of time before that, so I went in 99. I graduated BUD/S class 231 in I think October of 2000. I went straight from the Navy to my basic school. Right to BUD/S training, so there was no Navy fleet time, and then that was it. I was assigned to SEAL Team 1 in San Diego, or Coronado rather, and was fortunate enough to deploy with, I guess, after the 9/11 attacks. My first deployment as a new guy, so it was kind of get in, go through BUD/S, get on the team, and then it was right away you're in it.
Throw you right in the fire, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Literally. Wow. So tell us a little bit more about SEAL training. I mean, we all kind of heard about it. We see it in movies. Not too many times we get to talk to a real SEAL, but it's insanely competitive to get in, first of all, and then get through it. So tell us a little bit more about how rigorous all that is for us people that don't know much about it.
Okay. Well, yes, it was pretty hard. I mean, that's without saying. We started the class with roughly 140 originals, and I think we ended up with 30 originals and 10 rollbacks. So the way the training is broken down is three phases. You have your first phase, second phase, third phase. First phase being the notorious Hell Week, where you only sleep about 4 hours in about 5.5 days, and that was week 3. That in itself is what gets most people. But what I saw was not just the physical aspect or the Hell Week. It was just the constant grind of every day of guys that were in shape, guys that were mentally tough, and guys that were just getting broken down, little by little by little. So it wasn't like, okay, Hell Week's a big thing. Night evolutions are a big thing. Just stuff that you would expect people to ring the bell and quit on. But it was more so just, as I mentioned, the daily grind of a guy's injury. It's just a guy that's really studly. He can run a 5-minute mile in boots and that type of thing. Do 50 pull-ups, and then by the end of the third week, this guy is limping around just because injuries, the onset injuries or whatever the case.
Yeah, would you say? Sorry to interrupt you, Johnny. Would you say, physically it's more challenging, or mentally, or both? Or I'm sure it's both, but what would you say is more challenging for you, the mental aspect of the training or the physical?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to articulate there. Is just it's the mental thing, because everybody starts to get those injuries and everybody starts to get hurt. Some guys get it more where you can't, and you have to get rolled back. You can't continue. But everybody has to push through some kind of physical and mental exhaustion. There's absolutely no way you can say you're mentally prepared, because there's mentally stuff that you've never done, especially as a 22-year-old like I was. You're 22, you really don't know much about the world, or as you would when you're, let's say, 32 years old. But you're in shape, you're a hell of an athlete, or somebody that wants to go and do something elite and something special. So I would say mentally, it's more
challenging mentally. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Mentally,
you're obviously physically fit before. Did you do a lot of sports in school and that kind of stuff before that, or what did you do that where you were in good shape before you went into the Navy?
I did everything I could do to prepare myself for that. I ran, I swam. I went to 2 years of college before I joined the Navy. I ran track, played football, push-ups, working out. Push-ups, calisthenics, that type of stuff. Working out in the gym. Everything I can do to make myself well-rounded. So it was just constantly. I was even so silly to go to. I grew up in Los Angeles area, so I go out to the beach and run in boots. Like a total little wacko kid. Running in boots on the beach. I'm a nobody, and I'm trying to run and jump in the water and do stuff. So I was trying to do everything I could to prepare myself for that moment.
Yes, that's a good little lesson for our listeners out there. Is you really set your mind to do something and prepare for it. It's not like you just show up to Navy SEAL training on a Monday and you're ready to go, right? You run around the sand in your boots, you're physically fit, you're active, and mentally you're preparing for it as well. So that's a good lesson in business and life as well. Now, your brother was a SEAL as well. How did that go? Was he before you, after you, or did you guys go in combat together? Tell us a little bit about working with your brother.
No, he was after me. So he became... He's 5 years younger than me, but he actually went in earlier. I went in when I was 22. He went in when I was 19. So we overlapped just very minimally. I was exiting where he was getting in, just finishing his Trident graduation, all that stuff. Receiving his Trident. He graduated BUDS SQT. But the way it worked out growing up was, I think he saw the steps I took, and he saw the seriousness I took. And again, some of it, we don't know. It's uncharted territory. Everybody that in our family was cops or doing other stuff. We wanted to be in the military. I think once I went in, once I made it, he saw, it could be done. And it was something that wasn't just something we saw on TV anymore, on Discovery Channel. I think what really made it rough for him was when I got wounded. So. Go ahead. Yeah,
that's how most of us see the SEALs is on TV. It's a lot different in real life. That's a pretty interesting story, getting to be a SEAL, working with your brother. There can't be too many Navy SEAL brothers that have both been SEALs. That can't be more than a handful of times that's ever happened, right?
Yeah, I think there's I can count on my fingers, maybe
yeah,
less than
so hard
that I know of. But I think it's a little bit more common. But yeah, no, not to the. It's not very common.
Not super.
Statistics go.
All right, then tell us a little bit about your injury and kind of walk us through your injury and rehab and what happened with all that.
Okay, yeah, so I'll keep that sort of short. So in 2002, we deployed to Afghanistan. We were basically just doing ops to go capture enemy combatants, insurgents. And one night, August 17th, August 18th here, August 18th, it was August 17th back here in the States, we were conducting an operation against Taliban insurgents, and we got in a firefight. A lot of chaos was going on. People were shooting inside a compound, outside a compound. Helicopters were shooting, and we pursued some individuals out into a field. Before you know it, those individuals were there with a gunfight, and I was on the ground lying there, just with this pain that was unbelievable. So essentially, I got ambushed. I got hit in the inside of my leg, probably on a degree where I was walking about a 45 degree away from the line of fire, and as I was walking, the round came and struck me in an optimal position to miss my front leg and hit me in my back leg. So it hit me in my back leg, knocked me on my back. I fell immediately, thought I was dead, but with that there was so much pain I realized I wasn't dead. then everything was going through my mind. I thought I stepped on a landmine. I thought a grenade was thrown at me because nowhere had I ever heard that a gunshot won't hurt that much. Little did I know that the round had went through my leg, hit my femur, and blew my femur out, which made that's why I had such a big hole, and that it was just I had never I've seen tons of movies and had gone through tons of combat first aid, but that was just something I would never ever train for. So that kind
of a lot different when it's your own leg on not a leg on movie or something. And walk us through the rehab. So I've been in physical therapy and chiropractic. We've gone through rehab, and I'd probably say the same thing you said about your SEAL training, that it's a lot of times it's a lot more difficult mentally to rehab from that than it is physically. Tell us a little bit about that, Johnny.
Well, yeah, the mental aspect was terrible because it was about an hour and a half time before I even got to surgery. So, that was just playing through my mind every single time. They're saying I was going to lose my leg. When I got to Kandahar, did my surgery in Afghanistan. I wake up in Afghanistan. I'm all just drugged up. My friends are around me. I can vividly remember calling home. Transported me to another base in Bagram. From there, I remember some other guys coming to see me. From there, it was Germany for 3 days, more surgeries. What's interesting about these times, from the time of getting wounded to the time, all 3 different stops before I got to Bethesda Hospital, about 5 days after, was I remember all the guys that were at my bedside, vividly. And I talked the rehab aspect and the mental aspect, or the supernatural aspect. Those are things that I remember. Those guys just being there were things that got me through the rehab. Them being at my bedside, them talking to me. So as little as that was, people think there's not a lot of power in that, or somebody next to you talking to you, kind of helping you through with a pep talk. But it definitely, that was probably some of the, I think, greatest, most powerful reasons that I, rehab in the initial onset. After, when I got to Bethesda Hospital in Maryland, we were there for about, I think, 10 days. They did a surgery, put a rod in. Again, I had doctors telling me I'd lose my leg, I'd never walk again. There was no shame in getting out of the Navy. I served my country, all this good stuff. And then roughly, I think 2 weeks after the injury, sometime in late August, or maybe it was early September, they transported me, flew me across country to Balboa Hospital, where they did, I think it was more just care. All the surgeries were done. So a total of 5 hospitals, 5 surgeries. The final surgery was putting the rod in my leg. And rehab ever since. Rehab. During that time, rehab for about 6 months after it happened. I went on full duty back again in January. So if it happened in August, that's less than 6 months. I went back on full duty.
Wow.
But it wasn't full duty that you would think. It was more of schools, just more of the classroom type stuff. However, back in, I think, April is when we started actual training. So, come April, 9 months, 10 months now after the injury, I'm trying to run full speed around the desert with a bunch of gear on, trying to keep up with everyone. So that was, again, the rehab was phenomenal. The care I had was phenomenal. Did I come back a couple months early? Probably. But when you're 25,
I'd say so. You definitely came back really fast from an injury like that. But I guess you got to be a little crazy to be a SEAL to begin with, right? That's pretty crazy. Yeah, somebody like that. We measure that in years usually, not months. Injuries like that.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think it helped me mentally or physically. I think it did a little bit more damage. But when you're 25, you want to get back to town, training and get back to the same guys that you were over in Trenchway with. So that camaraderie really gets you through that kind of stuff. The guys, you've been through things that other people can't even think about, and there's definitely a lifelong bond there for sure. That's quite the story. How's the leg feeling these days, Johnny? There's a lot of pain, and it depends. Some days are worse than others, and it's all depends. It's not really saying it's predicated on physical activity, or if I just sit there. It's just some days if I'm just sitting on the couch and I try and get up, it hurts. Some days the neuropathic pain is worse, or some days The joints are worse in the knee. Some days it's the hip. So it's just every day is a little bit different. Some days we all hit at once. And, those are the days where I feel kind of bad because my son wants to go play football or something, and I have to tell him no. Other days it feels great, and I don't have to take anything for it. So I'll go do legs at the gym. I mean, it just every day is a little different, but no days it's kind of unpredictable. There's really no matrix of, okay, if I did this day, it's going to hurt this day.
Well, and how'd your brother end up doing in the SEALs? He had a good career there as well?
He did. And, funny about that, or ironic, however you want to say it, that his first platoon was the whole Operation Red Wing thing with, the now famous Lone Survivor movie. He was he was on the rescue helicopter to go rescue those 4 guys. And Luttrell, he was number 2 helo that didn't get shot down, thank God. Wow. But on that, he got to see some pretty horrific things. So, on my first deployment,
They should make a movie about the two of you. This is quite a unique story, the 2 brothers in the SEALs and all these experiences. You guys should have your own movie about you guys,
Yeah, we're just we're trying to. We try to make people aware of it. Definitely. I mean,
that's a great story.
Yeah, thank you.
All of it's great, but it's an interesting story. And walk us through, getting out of rehab and out of the SEALs and now into starting your own business with your brother. Let's walk us through those next couple steps there.
So about 2 years ago, we were with one of our friends, a very successful business guy in New York, and kind of looking at some different options of helping vets. I think it was actually late into the airport. I flew in or went to the wrong airport. Whatever the case, my flight was late. And just something, that simple as them waiting for me and then picking me up, that we kind of realized, like, hey, we've been wanting to help vets. We, both our wives have small businesses that don't, aren't flourishing because we don't come from a lot of money, or we're busy doing other stuff, or my brother's busy, going overseas all the time contracting. And kind of came up with this idea that, if we can come up with a marketplace to help vets, to help military or dependent businesses sort of flourish, do the marketing for them, do the analytics for them, do advertising, as not just advertising with traditional print ads or something, but more focused on, hey, here's a geographical area, let's push carpenters or general contractors, or let's push hairstylists in this area. But everything is centric on the vets, military, or dependents. And the way that started was, I think the idea was, let's say you have somewhere at Fort Polk, Louisiana, and you have a wife of an E4 in the Army, right? They're super talented. Maybe they're hairstylists. Let's use that. But because they have 3 kids, their husband's always gone, their husband doesn't make very much money, there's probably a 99% chance that business is never going to do well. So what we said with Warriors Left Behind, and that's kind of what the name was we got these warriors here that are not deployed, not getting all the recognition that the guys in the military are, yet they're doing just as much. So why don't we do something for them and create this business to boost them and empower them to, have an opportunity as well. And it's more than just, hey, here's your stuff, put it on our website. We'll never talk to you again. You're just a number. Now it's, hey, it's a story. Each sign-up's a person. Each sign-up's a story. Each side's a story. I'm sorry, and it's powerful because we're trying to get this community involved where, everybody sees the opportunities that can arise from this, or that can arise from different, avenues of marketing. Again, analytics, but we're trying to bring that to light here.
Yeah, it's a great mission, and I've been kind of on this mission too. One of the reasons we connected is because of this connection. Like I said, we just were actually at the local VA yesterday, and we do a pretty good job. When you have an injury like that, we sit you back up, and you do the rehab for 6 months a year, and but then down the road they have physical problems years later, and the VA system maybe isn't the best always at that. And same thing, take care of vets. Yeah, you're out of the service now, and there's not always this help and this clear path for them a couple years down the road, and we see that a lot here too in the clinic. So it's a real good mission, help them getting back on their feet and get their business up and running. And vets make great business people too, as you know. I mean, the discipline alone is great, and they're making really good business owners. So that's a great mission for you to help out. And you also have another business with the ammunition. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's actually what's great about this with Warriors Left Behind, because people know that we have a real best interest. My brother and I both have a small business called TFZ Ammunition. So it's basically, we started a ammo company, but we wanted to do this kind of the same thing. And I think it's a theme here with us being SEALs. We want community. We don't just want a tangible product. We wanted a community of ammunition, precision ammunition, but we wanted to get the zombie people, on, let's say, Seattle or San Francisco area that don't like guns and ammo, anti-Second Amendment, whatever the case, but like zombies and like this idea. Or maybe the people out in the Midwest, or some of these people who used to live in Virginia, and some of my other friends that are these preppers that don't live, in a vicinity. Nobody lives with them, 3 miles of them, and they're not really into zombies, but they like guns, ammo, and survival. We made this community where the precision ammo is the focal point, and it's kind of a community. TFZ, Task Force Zombie. It's a silly name to have fun, but we wanted a task force where people could kind of adhere to being part of something. That guys never got to go get a trident, and guys never got to go into law enforcement, never got to play football or something. But now this little community that we started, we're trying to get people involved and say, hey, look, it's more than just an ammunition company. It's more than just a couple SEALs trying to do something here. We're trying to create this community for people to be a part of. So again, that just seems to be the theme with us. We like to have that. People understand that they're part of something, whether it's, with Warriors Left Behind and the veterans, or the ammo with TFZ. It's,
community.
We like that.
Yeah, we see that across everything now. I mean, the vets more than others are used to having this great community of, fellow soldiers, and then you're out in the real world and everybody spreads apart and you lose that community. But it really happens with all of us too. I mean, we were just talking another podcast with a business person, and, when you own a business, now that you own a small business, you see that's kind of a pretty lonely job too. I mean, I'm surrounded by a lot of employees all the time, but ultimately you're the boss and you're kind of alone. They go out for drinks after work and the boss doesn't come, so being an entrepreneur can kind of be lonely, and that's why a good sense of community, and these podcasts, these meetups and all that are good for you. But yeah, it's people need this sense of community for a lot of reasons. I think now more than ever, we're disconnected with being on iPhones and chatting all day, and nobody really kind of talks face to face so much anymore. So we're kind of losing that community more than ever, and vets need it, and everybody else too. I think we're really losing that sense of community. So that's a great thing that you're doing for us, John, for the vets, John. So tell us a little bit of where people get in touch with you, check out your websites, and find out a little more information about your awesome story and your businesses that you got going on, Johnny.
Okay, yeah. So with WLB, Warriors Left Behind, it's you can go on the website. It's www.wlb.us.com. And that can give you the story about WLB. On WLB too, what we did also is just a quick plug for this. We started something called the Warrior 8-Count Challenge, which is 8-count bodybuilders, pretty much the cornerstone of Bud's training. And it's just doing 28 counts in a minute. If you don't do 20, you only do 19, then we ask that you donate $1 to go towards a care package. So it's on there under the WLB care. It's on the website. And then with the ammunition, it's TF-Z, so TF-Z.com or TF-zombie.com. So those are the two, where you can get on, find us. But otherwise, my emails are on there. It's pretty simple. It's Johnny@warriorsleftbehind.com or Johnny@TF-Z.com. So.
Nice. Yeah, so great stuff. Amazing story you've been through. Amazing story coming back and starting your own business and being a SEAL. It's quite an interesting story. I think you got to have a book in you at some point, Johnny, maybe. It'd be a good story for a book. But, so everybody get in touch with Johnny if you need anything. And there's lots of vets out there who probably use some help joining the community and getting in touch with Johnny and just help spread the word for him. So thanks a lot for coming on, Johnny. We'll keep in touch, buddy. Appreciate your service. Thank from all of us to you for all your service, and your brother as well, who I've spoken to, is a great guy as well. So thank you and your brother for your service to the country, and have a great day, Johnny.
You too, Doctor. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything. Thank you very much.
Bye, Johnny.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Dr. J's Path to Success podcast. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes and leave us a review. For information, please visit drjamesfetish.com. Dr. James R. Fetish, Clinic Director at Village Family Clinic. His book, Secrets of a $1 Million Clinic is available on Amazon and online at hackettstownfamilyclinic.com or drjamesfetish.com. www.drjamesfedich.com.